Hello again, and welcome to my latest Yin Yoga audio session. Today, we'll be working on the deep front line of the body, or DFL. The DFL is the foundation or the core of your body, and is what stabilises and aligns you both in your yoga practice and in general. It's basically a long set of interconnected muscles, fascia, and other connective tissues starting from the ankles, travelling up the inner line of the legs, moving through the pelvis, the trunk, and up the front of the spine to the tongue. In a more active or yang form of yoga, a class based on exercising the core often means working on the muscles of the body. In yin yoga, however, we're focusing more on the connective tissue, stressing them in different ways to help them become stronger and healthier. The main difference here is that in yang styles of exercise, the movements are often more repetitive and rhythmic, so suited in general to exercising muscles which have elastic properties. By that, I mean that after being stressed, stretched, or shortened, for example, they return to approximately the same state as they were in before. Connective tissue in general, however, is not as elastic, and the type of exercise it tends to respond to best is what we call yin exercise, i.e. long-held and relatively slow poses. So in our class today, we'll be centering on the connective tissue of the deep front line, largely the torso, and the arm or humerus joint. If you wanted to look at the images of the poses as a general guide, please check my blog on uceleyoga.com. That's UCELE yoga.com. And if you'd like to have some props ready, then a blanket, some blocks, books, or cushions, something to raise you up would be good. Now we'll start with our breathing exercise. Begin by sitting in your chosen position, whatever that may be. Cross legs, Seiza, so kneeling, perhaps even lying if you want to. Just get yourself comfortable. Move the body a bit if you need to, the torso, the shoulders, the hips, whatever you need to move, and then close the eyes, or if it's more comfortable, then just soften your gaze. Make sure that the back is straight and the chest is open, but your shoulders are still relaxed. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in and out normally to begin with. Then we're just going to shorten the in-breath a little bit and elongate the out-breath, all through the nose. So when you're ready, just start to bring your attention to your normal breath, noticing where you can feel it in the body. That may be the belly, the diaphragm, maybe the chest, perhaps the rise and the fall of the shoulders, or maybe you can feel the air going in and out of the nostrils. Just notice where you can feel the breath. And as I mentioned, what we're going to do now is shorten the in-breath a little and allow the out-breath to be long, to go right to the end of the out-breath. So just shorten the in-breath just a little bit and then allow the out-breath to be long. If after a bit of time you feel it's not really working for you, then by all means just go back to your normal breath and perhaps just slow it down a little bit. The reason that we're doing this is that making the out-breath longer activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which ultimately means it can help slow you down. Slow down your heart rate, slow down your blood pressure, and ultimately help to relax you. Relax the nervous system, relax the mind. If you maybe even want to shorten the in-breath a little bit more and make the out-breath a bit longer, then experiment and see if that works. And then if you're not already on your normal natural breath, just go back to that now and see how you feel. And if you find that that breathing exercise did help to bring some calm, maybe to relax you, then try to use it in the poses today, using the out-breath to help you relax deeper into the pose and help gravity to bring you down. So as we're going to be working on the joint of the humerus or the arm today, then I just want to go through the movements of this joint. There are 6 movements, so let's do them together as a kind of warm-up. First of all, start by standing up. And just let your arms hang loosely by your sides. So the first 2 movements are flexion and extension. Flexion is swinging the arms forward, so just swing the arms forward. Extension is when they go back, so swing the arms back. Flexion, arms forward, just do it with me. Extension, arms back. Flexion, extension, flexion, extension. The next 2 movements are abduction and adduction. So bring the arms out to the sides. This is abduction. Then bring them closer to the body. Bring them close together. Now even cross them over one another. This is adduction. So abduction, arms out. Adduction, close together. Abduction, adduction, abduction, adduction. Now just rotate your whole arm outwards from the shoulder so that the thumb is on the outside and the little fingers are closer to the body. This is external rotation of the humerus. Now go the opposite way, so rotating the whole arm from the shoulder inwards so that the thumbs are closer to the body and the little fingers are on the outside. This is internal rotation. External rotation going out, internal rotation going in. External rotation, internal rotation. So those are the 6 movements that we're going to be doing today. And I was just doing that, not to make you feel like you're back in school, but just pay attention to how they feel as we use them in the poses, encouraging the lubrication of the humerus joint and consequently a potential for increased range of motion or flexibility in this area. Now we'll move into the first pose, sitting swan. So obviously for this, you're going to need to sit down. So just move to the floor and sit with your legs out straight in front of you. Now bend the knees, put the feet on the floor, and the hands on the floor behind you, fingers pointing away from you towards the back of the room. Now put your right ankle or shin on the left knee, above the left knee. So hopefully you may be feeling a bit of a stretch on the side of the right leg. Now if you feel you want more stretch here, then you can either move the left foot closer to you, or you can move the hips, the bum, closer to the left foot. If you find that's still not giving you much stretch, then try moving the right leg either more towards you, or perhaps playing with it, moving it more to the left or to the right. Also, if you find that there is too much pressure in the arms or the wrists, then move the hands. It may help, for example, to move the hands further away from the torso to lessen the flexion in the wrists. You might find that separating the hands is helpful, or maybe alternatively bringing the hands closer together, maybe even bringing them closer to the torso. And when you've found your position, we'll stay for around 3 minutes. If you would like to bring that breath back now, then just start shortening the in-breath a little and elongating the out-breath, letting yourself deepen naturally without pushing into the pose. And what we're doing here, as I briefly mentioned before, is exercising the tissues. But we're exercising the connective tissue, of which there is a lot in and around the joints. And we're encouraging the lubrication of the joints, potentially increasing the range of motion, and also helping with stiffness, which can be very common, tension, and maybe pain. And now let's go to the other side. So just bring that right foot down onto the floor. Keep the knee bent, and this time place the left ankle or shin just above the right knee. Play with the position of the torso so that you're feeling a mild to moderate stretch. this time in the side of the left leg, maybe even going into the glutes. Move the torso closer to the foot on the floor, or move that foot closer to the torso. If you want less stretch, then move the foot and the torso further apart. You can also play with the legs, so moving that top foot closer to the torso for more stretch or away for less. Or perhaps moving that foot more to the right or to the left. Being very careful of anything that feels like it's hurting anywhere and making sure to adjust. Any pressure in the arms or the wrists. Try moving the hands away from each other, away from you, or the opposite, closer to each other, closer to you. You can even move the hands around a bit if you want to, but just try to keep that opening in the chest if you can. And now again we'll stay for another 3 minutes, and I'll be quiet during this time, but just remember, if it's helpful for you to use that breath, short in breath, longer out breath, in whatever way is comfortable for you, then please use that to help you, or alternatively, just deepen the breath a bit. Paying attention and sending the breath to the target areas, the opening of the chest, the stretch in the legs, and the compression in the arms and in the wrists. Now let's move out of the pose into the rebound. So take that top leg off. Just straighten the legs out again in front of you. And then either just sit up or fold over the legs. Noticing if you can feel anything, any after effects in the hands, the arms, maybe the shoulders, perhaps the legs. Now when you feel any sensations pass, then just start moving the fingers a bit, just bending and extending the fingers. No big movements. And then start making small fists, slowly getting bigger and bigger, closing and opening the fingers. Then you can circle the wrists, first circling to the right, then circling to the left. And finally, just shake the arms out, shake the hands out, before we move into the next pose, cross caterpillar. So that was extension of the arms. Now we're going to do flexion and adduction of the arms. Start with the knees bent again, but this time with them a bit further away from you and the heels on the floor. Now adduct the arms, so cross them over at the tops and then take hold of the outsides of the feet. Right hand on left foot, left hand on right foot. Just remember that you can change this at any time. If you feel it's better for you to hold a bit further up, even onto the toes, or perhaps further down the feet, maybe even the other side of the feet, adjust it, make it your pose. So what we're looking for here is a stretch on the upper back and the backs of the arms. So if you're not really feeling that, then just round over more. That could give you more of a stretch. If you're still not feeling it, then push the legs further away, or maybe separate them. If you're feeling the stretch is too much, then bring the feet more towards you again, so that your knees are more bent. Do play with the legs until you find the position that works for you. You may be feeling this in the back line of the leg as well. The hamstrings, the calves, different for different people. Remember that what we want is to come to our natural stopping point, to feel a mild to moderate sensation in the target area. So in this case, the upper back, the backs of the shoulders, the backs of the arms, without pushing. And remember, if you want to, you can bring back that breath. Perhaps this time noticing that short, natural pause at the end. And then breathing in again. And now let's just switch the cross of the hands. So if your right arm is on top, then this time just bring the left hand on top. The same thing. Take hold of the feet in whichever place was best for you. Adjust the legs if you need to. It may feel a little bit different on this side. And then we'll stay in this pose for around 2 minutes. Sometimes in yin yoga poses, you might suddenly feel something release. And this may be that you're opening up patterns of tension. These can happen by being in certain positions for long periods of time, being in front of a computer, for example, the usual culprit. And sometimes you can really feel that release. And now it's time to come out. So just let go of the feet, straighten the legs, and again fold over if you want to, or put the hands on the floor gently behind you. Then close your eyes and see how that feels on the back, the legs, the arms. Also see if you can notice your energy. Sometimes you can feel after coming out of a pose a sudden release of energy, or calm, or relaxation. But if that's not happening, that's fine. Just notice if it is or if it isn't. And then when any sensations pass, then just shake the legs out. And now we'll move into the next pose. So your seat is your choice. Find a seat that's comfortable for you and where you have a straight back. Maybe the one you used in the breathing exercise at the start, or perhaps a different one. Now once you've found your position, then flex the right arm, so bring it up in front of you and pull it across the chest. This is adduction. Now hold on to that arm with the left hand, or if you prefer, in the crook of the left elbow. The idea is to feel the stretch in the outside of the arm and the back of the shoulder again. If you're finding this isn't working for you, or maybe you have some kind of stabbing sensation in the front of the shoulder, then move the arm up and down. You can also bend at the elbow, and you can also play with these variations if you want more stretch or less stretch. We are actively giving some pressure on this arm to get some stretch, but don't go over the top, just a bit of help. Now you can also drop your head to the side if you wish for a neck stretch. And then we'll stay here for around 2 minutes. Again, bringing that breath back if you wish. And I'll just stay silent for that time. Now let's move to the other side. So drop that arm, and this time flex the left arm. Pull it across the chest, and then hold it with the right hand or in the crook of the right elbow. Playing with that arm, moving it up, down, maybe bending, to feel the stretch in the outside of the arm and the shoulder again. If you did drop your head on the first side, then drop your head to the opposite side this time. Moving it around a little bit, maybe slightly to the front, slightly to the back, still keeping it lateral, but to find where the tension is for you. And again, we stay for 2 minutes. And now, just for the rebound, let the arms drop by your sides. Notice how the arms feel, how the shoulders feel. And now, as a counter pose, just roll the shoulders slowly forwards, up, back, and round. And do that a couple of times. Forwards, back, up and round. And then switch the direction and do it the opposite way. The next pose we move into is called angel wings. So to do this, stay in your seated position. If you've crossed your legs, then you might want to cross the other way. Then here you have 3 different options, and this all depends on the rotation possibilities, the humerus. First, hold on to the elbows. If this is enough, if this is your natural stopping point and you're feeling the stretch in the fronts of the shoulders, the arms, then stay here. If you want more, then bring the fists together. And finally, if you're not feeling enough stretch, then bring the palms together as if in prayer but behind the back. The target area here is opening the chest, a stretch in the front shoulders, and on the inside arms. If you feel that you want even more stretch, then move your hands more to the side of the back. And now we stay for around 3 minutes. And if you moved your hands to the side of the back, or your fists, then now move them to the other side for the remaining minute and a half. And now we'll come out of the pose. So drop your arms to your sides and just let them hang loose, noticing the effects of the pose. And then when you're noticing any sensations pass, take your time completely. Then just lie on your back into Shavasana. Spend a bit of time getting comfortable, placing the arms and the legs where feels best for you, where you can stay for a few minutes. No need to hold on to that special breath anymore if you've been using that. Just go back to your natural breath. Adjust the hips if you want to, the feet, the hands, the shoulders, the head. Get as comfortable as you can. And now we're going to stay in Shavasana for around 4 minutes. But don't count. Just enjoy. And then in your own time, in your own way, slowly and gently bring your body back and gently make your way up to a seated position in your own time. And just to remind you, as well as these audio sessions, I also do Facebook Live classes. So just look for Uchele Yoga on Facebook if you'd like to join me on Wednesday lunchtimes and Friday evenings. And although I don't ask for any payment for any of these sessions, if you do them regularly and you enjoy them, then please visit my Patreon site and consider becoming a patron. Just look for Uchele Yoga on the Patreon site, so Patreon. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this session. Namaste.